temperatures across the Pacific Northwest. 55 in Seattle at this hour, 63 in the Dalles, 61 in Pendleton, and 62 currently in the Rose City.
On World News tonight, there has been a case of anthrax in New York City. It has scared a lot of people. We'll take a closer look at the threat. The president says the nation is still in danger. So does the Attorney General. The U.S. says the bombing in Afghanistan may have killed some Taliban officials. The White House urges millions of children to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And give $1 to the children of Afghanistan. And the individual ways that people deal with anxiety, prayer and eating and looking for love.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. We don't mean to be glib about it, but when is there not a lot going on these days? The bombing campaign against Afghanistan continued today, and there has been another case of anthrax. We learned early this morning that a woman at NBC's headquarters here in New York City had been infected by anthrax, and there has been at least a scare at the New York Times, not far away. The Attorney General said today that there have been hundreds of anthrax hoaxes, but another real event frightened a lot of people. So our first report tonight is from ABC's John Miller. John, we know that an assistant to Tom Brokaw got a letter on the 25th of September. Take it from there.
Well, that letter, Peter, written in broken English, threatened attacks in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. It was postmarked out of St. Petersburg, Florida, which becomes important later in this story. It arrived at NBC's New York headquarters on September 25th. It was opened by an assistant, NBC President Andrew Lack.
We received a positive test for cutaneous anthrax for one of our colleagues who works on nightly news.
The third floor of NBC's headquarters was sealed off while CDC investigators conducted tests. Employees at the building were nervous.
I want no part of this. I'm going home.
When the letter arrived 2.5 weeks ago, NBC staffers called police. The letter, the powder, and the assistant who opened it were all tested for anthrax. Investigators found no trace. Then last week, the assistant fell ill and had a skin lesion.
She continued to have symptoms. Her doctors did a biopsy, and the biopsy was sent to 2 different places for testing. And the CDC determined that from the biopsy that she had cutaneous anthrax.
The FBI is trying to determine if the New York case has any link to the Florida anthrax case that has already claimed 1 life at this Boca Raton newspaper office.
We have not made that connection at this point in time.
The newsroom at the New York Times was also evacuated today. Reporter Judith Miller, who just wrote a book on biological terrorism, received an envelope full of white powder. It was also postmarked Florida. Investigators say tests will be completed late tonight.
We saw, the guys in the rubber suits coming in, which is a little disheartening.
In Washington, the Attorney General warned Americans to be vigilant about the mail.
Look for a return address. If it's not familiar to you, try calling the people at the return address, try finding out whether it is really anticipated mail or gratuitously appears.
Mail rooms at newspapers and television networks were put on alert for suspicious packages. Some suspended the delivery of mail altogether today. People from the CDC are at NBC right now offering antibiotics and treatment to employees there. They want to put everybody who was working on that floor on those medications. And of course, there have been so many of these hoaxes in the area, Peter, that this wasn't really taken that seriously in the beginning. You'll see that from the time it was received to the time police actually picked it up and began to work on the product there was about 4 days.
Many thanks, John. John Miller. There's so many questions that people have in a case like this. We're joined now by our medical editor, Dr. Tim Johnson. Tim, answer this first if you could. People are puzzled by the fact that this woman, Tom Brokaw's assistant, at first tested negative and then subsequently positive. positive.
Well, she didn't test negative, but the samples they took from the powder they received tested negative. I don't think we have a good answer, but there are three possible explanations. One, that the testing was done on different samples from different sources, highly unlikely. Two, that the spores were so dormant they couldn't grow out and be tested positive, also I think unlikely. And three, that the samples were so small they couldn't get enough spores for testing in those two powder samples. And I think that's the likely explanation. By the time it grew in the skin, there was plenty of bacteria to test positively.
And how does the medical community generally respond at a moment like this?
Well, our anxiety level goes up like everyone's, but maybe we can more appreciate how lucky we are that anthrax is not contagious, meaning that we can move in quickly, contain it to the site, get early intervention with testing and antibiotics, and contain it. It doesn't spread rapidly and wildly. We don't have to evacuate the surrounding block or the city. We are very fortunate this is a non-contagious agent.
Many thanks, Tim. Dr. Tim Johnson, our medical editor. In the United States, only 224 cases of cutaneous anthrax were reported from 1944 to 1994. The anthrax that killed the man in Florida is also very rare. It is extremely difficult to kill large numbers of people using anthrax. So here's ABC's Ned Potter.
The attack in New York, say analysts, was crudely done. But if the object was to scare millions of people, they did an excellent job.
We are creating a mode of panic. And that's exactly what those who want to do us in would like us to do. There is no reason for panic at this point in time.
It is not impossible to get or grow the anthrax bacterium. There are labs in the U.S. that do research with it, and one might be able to buy it on the black market from Russia. It does take specialized knowledge, though, to turn it into a weapon, to turn it into the spores that can be sent to cause infection. But even so, causing an infection such as today's, which was transmitted through the skin, would almost be a matter of luck. Getting some powder on your fingers is not enough. Generally, there also needs to be a cut or blister of some sort so the spores can get through to the bloodstream. Still, security experts are worried.
Someone has mastered the art of at least producing the anthrax spores and, admittedly crudely, weaponizing them and delivering them. That's a source of some concern for us.
And since the first symptoms of infection are mild, doctors worry that thousands of people with nothing more than a cold will rush to hospitals thinking they have much worse. But several laboratories are working on portable detectors that can tell you in minutes if you have the real thing.
Traditionally, under a large instrument would take 2 to 3 hours to operate in a laboratory. Our portable system will do exactly the same thing, same precision, same sensitivity in 30 minutes or less.
It's important to remember that nobody in New York died from anthrax. But what worries many doctors is how to protect against panic. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
And now to the war against the Taliban. It's been almost a week now since the bombing campaign against Afghanistan began. As you know, it's not easy to get a complete picture of what is happening. Briefings are limited for one thing. ABC's John McWethy is at his usual post. John, the sense we get today is that the bombing today is motivated in part by regional politics.
You're absolutely right, Peter, and we will get to that in just a moment. But first, a word about the air campaign. There is a pause in the air campaign for a day or two. No fixed targets, officials say, but there will be U.S. jets patrolling the Afghan airspace looking for what they call targets of opportunity, like the one they found earlier this week. U.S. intelligence officials say they believe that the U.S. was able to kill several top Taliban officials when a U.S. jet attacked a moving car of a type that only the most elite Taliban officials use.
The Pentagon today showed more gun camera footage of what can only be described as easy pickings, airfields virtually undefended, with fighters and transports parked on the taxiways. For most of the week, the U.S. has been bombing Taliban troop concentrations, Secretary Rumsfeld said, with some success.
We know that we have found some concentration of Taliban and al-Qaeda forces, and we know that they are moving, that their life is more difficult. We get snippets of information that some people who've been helpful to them are less inclined to be helpful.
One thing the U.S. is not trying to do is open the way for all the Afghan opposition groups to march on Kabul. Pakistan strongly opposes it, and even elements within the opposition itself say it could be a bloodbath, with various opposition factions turning on each other, as well as what's left of the Taliban.
So that leaves a delicate balancing act for the United States, with officials worrying that they may be unleashing forces there that the U.S. will not be able to control, Peter.
Thanks, John. John McCarthy of the Pentagon. As we've said several times, in Afghanistan itself, it is very difficult to verify almost anything. But the Taliban said today they have recaptured a central district lost to opposition forces earlier this month. Now, there are many fronts in the country. ABC's David Wright has been on the road with the Northern Alliance, some distance north of Kabul, and he filed from the road tonight by videophone.
Peter, we've been on the road for a couple of days now, and so have the forces of the Northern Alliance. We've seen truckloads of them making the same journey we are through the Pamir Mountains, hoping to reinforce positions within striking distance of the capital city of Kabul. They say that finally tanks, artillery, and ground forces are massing for a possible siege of Kabul in the days to come. But they also say they're waiting for the U.S. airstrikes to take their full effect before they move in. U.S. officials confirmed today that they continue to be in touch with the Northern Alliance, but they say that they are not coordinating targets with them. Meanwhile, on the Taliban side, significant developments as well. The Taliban claim that some 200 civilians lost their lives in the attack on Jalalabad alone. And for the very first time, they've invited some Western journalists in to see for themselves. Well, we plan to take them up on that, and we hope to have that story in the days to come. Peter?
Thank you, David. David Wright with the Northern Alliance. It was another tense day in Pakistan. Thousands of people who support the Taliban fought with police after Friday prayers. Demonstrators hurling stones and burning cars met forcefully by hundreds of Pakistani troops using tear gas and batons. Overall, a huge security presence kept the number of protesters lower than expected. The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded in the middle of all this to the United Nations and its Secretary General Kofi Annan. The Nobel Committee said this year's prize was because the UN promoted peace and a better organized world, and that Mr. Annan in person had brought new life to the organization. Coincidentally, President Bush said at his news conference last night that the United States supported a leading role for the UN, putting Afghanistan back together once the Taliban is defeated. And the Secretary General was asked about it today.
The people themselves may decide the time has come for a change, and I think we should be prepared to work with them and to help them through the difficult humanitarian phase, then through a transitional period if they come together and work to form a broad-based government.
The Nobel Peace Prize winner today. When we return, this country on high alert, the threats and the false alarms. Giving to Afghan children, a generous answer to the president's appeal, and dealing with anxiety, looking for comfort in familiar places.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Chevy Trucks.
After the 270 horsepower Chevy Trailblazer, everything else just seems kind of weak. The all-new Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
I ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. They tell me it actually works to remove cholesterol from your body. Pulls it right out. Helped clip my cholesterol 15 points. That's a whole bunch. Quaker oatmeal warms you heart and soul.
I ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. It actually works to remove cholesterol from your body. Sucks it right out. Help lower my cholesterol 10 points. That's even more than I bargained for. Quaker oatmeal warms you heart and soul.
Johnson, I'd like to see some ideas on saving the company money. I'll be back first thing in the morning.
Thank. That's a
Well, Johnson, Staples. That'll save us a lot of money. You are a genius.
Get extra savings for your business all this month at Staples.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
If you were watching any television today, you know that regular programs were interrupted regularly for the latest briefings by various senior officials. There were two by the Attorney General, who warned the nation again that this was a time to be very vigilant. And the President was particularly direct.
Our nation is still in danger. But the government is doing everything in our power to protect our citizenry. We need each other more than ever, and we're responding as quickly and as forcefully as we can.
So with the country being reminded repeatedly that there is a threat out there, there's a whole new burden on local officials. Here's ABC's Aaron Hayes.
They are dealing with one alarm after another.
Suspicious substance has been discovered.
Many may be false alarms, but there is no knowing that going in. The pressure is on local police departments everywhere not to miss a thing.
We're pretty much at as heightened alert as we can be, and I think the officers are as anxious as the rest of the community.
What's your address? In Chicago, as of today, the Emergency Command Center is being manned 24 hours a day.
And we do not intend to take any chances when it comes to protecting the safety of the people of the city of Chicago.
That means long hours on edge for police officers, firemen, hazardous material teams. Every call they get, they have to assume is the real thing, and that is hard duty. Broward County Sheriff Ken Jenney worries about his officers, like so many, overworked and undertrained for terrorism duty.
We're going through more training right now. We're bringing everybody together to give that training to let them know what's going on.
They are stretched, on the lookout now at state fairs and ballparks and shopping malls.
Everything is considered serious. Customer leaves a package, customer leaves a bag, we call it in.
One more challenge, many local police departments feel the FBI is leaving them out of the loop, that it's too hard for them to get information about terrorism suspects, terrorist threats.
A sense of frustration that the feds are still keeping everything, for a variety of reasons, to themselves. They have an unwillingness to start trying to bring the locals in. And I think there's a necessity of ensuring security, but we're going to have to be more inclusive rather than exclusive if we want to pull this off.
Actually, what many citizens say they want right now.
Information. As long as they keep me informed, then I can make informed decisions myself.
Not easy. This is unprecedented work, new rules. Police are trying to adjust, hoping for patience as they work to get this right. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Atlanta.
When we come back, the children of the country are being asked to pitch in, sending money to the children of Afghanistan.
It was my grandson's birthday. He just turned 3. We're going to move him out of his crib and buy him a big boy bed. I was on chemo then, and I was exhausted. I said to the doctor, I need help. I'm on a mission.
If you're a chemotherapy patient and feel tired and weak, you may be anemic. Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Oh, this is a great one. This is a good one.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
How do you like it up here now?
Good. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need.
See? What'd I tell you?
Your strength for living.
He takes a lot of energy, but I never get tired of him.
I ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. They tell me it actually works to remove cholesterol from your body. Pulls it right out. Help clip my cholesterol 15 points. That's a whole bunch. Quaker oatmeal warms you heart and soul.
It responds to the power of your voice. It lets you focus on the road ahead.
OnStar Personal Calling.
Call Commissioner Gordon. With the safety of hands-free dialing, you can concentrate on more important things, like driving.
Gordon here.
I'm on my way. You could win a walk-on part in the next Batman movie or an OnStar-equipped vehicle. Go to OnStar.com.
You got gas? You gotta get these.
Fazyme Quick Dissolve Chewables.
So quick. Like that. Wow.
A chewable that's quick to dissolve and quick to relieve gas. Fazyme.
They're very smooth and creamy. And they're not gritty.
Fazyme Quick Dissolve Chewables.
Pledge Grab It Wet Floor Wipes.
It's very, very moist, very wet.
So this has the cleanser and everything on it.
And you could see where it's cleaning.
Actually, there's just juice right here. That's what I got out.
Look at that. I'm impressed.
Here's his foot mark right here. Do you see it? Gone.
Grab it.
The Pledge Grab It Wet Floor Wipes.
My house is going to be so clean. That's a lot of dirt.
It works. No mop to rinse.
I love these wet cloths.
Pledge Grab It Wet Floor Wipes.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
No more buckets.
President Bush has been talking about the children again today. During a visit to the March of Dimes convention, he repeated his suggestion that American children give $1 each to the children of Afghanistan. And as ABC's Michelle Norris reports tonight, children are responding.
If you have your $1 today to donate to the children of Afghanistan, please come to the office at this time.
And they came with dollars in hand. In St. Paul, they passed this box from class to class.
16, 17.
And in Kansas City, this 5-year-old decided that just $1 would not do. His contribution,
$29.50.
Whether it was allowance or earnings or cash from relatives, America's youngsters seem eager to help Afghan children they had barely heard of until last month.
Can anybody help me find Afghanistan?
Now Afghanistan and the plight of its people are a featured topic in classrooms across America. In this war-torn country where 1 in 5 children die before their 5th birthday, this 12-year-old said today that his family needs food, clothing, and tents to survive the coming winter.
They do need it more than we do, instead of us buying candy.
What do you think it says about this country?
I think it says that our country is loving and caring.
Behind the scenes, there are quiet grumblings about this dollar drive. There are concerns that American children are being used in a propaganda campaign. But school officials said they wouldn't dare air those concerns publicly, not when America appears to be swept up by symbolism. A parent today, as America's school children, at the urging of the White House, simultaneously recited the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
In the war against terrorism, a new tactic, responding to hatred with generosity from America's young. Michelle Norris, ABC News, Washington.
When we come back this evening, taking the simple things more seriously.
You strive for perfection in the kitchen. Wield highly precise instruments. Test things 500,000 times. Work with tolerances of less than 1/1000th of an inch. You could be making a Delta faucet. Precisely crafted and relentlessly refined, Delta faucets achieve perfection in the kitchen. Even if you can't. Delta, beautifully engineered.
Your eyes need nutrition as well as the rest of your body, so Centrum and Centrum Silver added lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Now your eyes, your toes, and everything in between are covered by Centrum and Centrum Silver. More complete from A to Zinc.
Beautiful car.
200 horsepower, V6 engine. It's got your name written all over it. You like it?
I love it.
I feel a test drive coming on. You ready? I'm ready.
I'm done. I want this car. I will take this car.
You've got to take it for a test drive.
No, I'm going to take the car. I want it.
Let's put this thing on the road.
Let's go for a test drive. Test drive over. I want the car.
Chevy Impala.
I love this car.
We'll be there.
I'm very proud of my lawn. In the fall, I use Scott's Winterizer. The food enters the root system, stores it over the winter. Then in the spring, perks that grass right up. Scott's Winterizer gives me the last green lawn in the fall and the first green lawn in the spring.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
I'm Paul Lindman. Coming up next on K2 News, America's on alert and local emergency workers are flooded with false alarms. But what happens when there's a real emergency? Freightliner announces its future plans. We'll see why keeping Portland plants open could still cost hundreds of people their jobs. And Boeing announces Portland layoffs and numbers higher than expected. Next.
Finally, this evening, priorities. President Bush said last night he believes that one of the positive things that has happened in the country over the last month is that many people are reassessing what is important in life. Certainly the feeling of uneasiness and insecurity produces very different reactions. Here's ABC's Judy Muller.
If there is one way to sum up how Americans are dealing with last month's attack, it is the Latin phrase carpe diem.
Seize the day of, life feels shorter, and I just realized how much more precious the people are.
You start appreciating the people that you love a little bit more and your freedoms that you have. And it hits pretty close to the heart.
The heart and soul. Attendance is up sharply at places of worship.
I don't know what I could possibly do personally with that rage that would be positive. So I guess there's times when I feel I'm better off coming into church and just be at peace.
Americans are also focusing more on personal relationships, with some expressing a renewed commitment to marriage and family. And some single people are considering a change. Dating services report an enormous surge in applications. At Singles Gourmet in Los Angeles, people spoke of a need to connect with others and share their anxieties.
Frustrated, not control the situation, not knowing what's going to happen next.
Fear and frustration are also prompting some unhealthy reactions. Junk food consumption is up.
You got to enjoy yourself in case something happens to you.
Some weight loss programs are seeing weight gains.
Comfort foods, your carbs, the things that you used to eat when you were a child and you just, on a rainy day.
Alcohol sales are also up, but at the same time, many people with serious alcohol and drug problems are seeking help. At Clare Recovery House in Santa Monica, one man says he had his epiphany while watching TV coverage of New Yorkers searching for loved ones in the rubble.
I'm looking over at my son, I'm saying to myself, if they can keep that much hope and faith alive, I should be able to keep that much hope and faith in myself and get into a program and help myself before it's too late for me.
He has now been clean and sober for almost a month, joining millions of other Americans who find themselves seizing the day, one day at a time. Judy Muller, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. Next week on the program, how smaller communities are handling the terrorist threat, the challenge facing teams that handle hazardous materials, and the CIA struggling to recruit the kind of agents that it needs. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good and peaceful weekend. Good night.
Tonight, 10/9 Central, an old flame returns.
I'm a fool.
But not everyone's excited.
It's a married man who had an affair with my sister.
Maybe he was trying to save the marriage.
You're an idiot.
Once and again, tonight at 10/9 Central on ABC.